Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the spoiler review of Interstellar. We literally just saw it. If you have not seen the movie, stop watching this immediately. Check out the non-spoiler review somewhere on the screen somewhere. Oh, Iron Man!
Edit that.
I am not going to edit this out. This is going to be in here. Okay, maybe I should wear this. Maybe I should wear this.
It'll mess up the audio.
Okay. Well, anyway, we just saw...
You're so wasting time.
Okay. I am not going to edit any of this out.
God.
Okay, we literally just saw Interstellar just a few minutes ago.
So professional.
And if you've seen the non-spoiler review, you'll know that we were both a little underwhelmed with the movie. We had such high expectations of it, and whenever in the trailer, whenever Anne Hathaway is like, "Love is the only thing that transcends space and time," I was like, "What?" Something was odd about it, and I think I said it in a podcast too. I said that,
right?
Or maybe it was in my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2015.
Okay.
Which you can check out also somewhere, maybe here. But, that idea really did push the movie into some weird territory.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just go right into the big spoiler, okay? They're talking about them, this ambiguous
they
people.
never explain. Well, actually, he sort of did, because when he's talking to the TARS robot in the black hole thing, the bookshelf room.
No, I'm talking about before that scene.
Right.
Or just refer to them as them.
Right, but in there, he talks about it's themselves in the future, like an advanced race of themselves.
Yeah, he's talking about humans, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in other words, it wasn't a they. There never was a they.
Yeah, there were.
No, that's what he told him. He said it wasn't a. He's like humans couldn't build this. TARS did, and then Matthew McConaughey's character said, Cooper said, not now, but a distant future, and
but he
we'll
was
be
talking,
advanced, and then we'll.
He was talking about like humans' descendants.
Yeah. In other words, it wasn't aliens. It was people just way off in the future.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay.
So it wasn't like some coexisting aliens that are here now, but just
right. It's like future humans like communicating back in time,
which annoys me to no end because I don't care what you think about theoretical physics.
It doesn't.
It's the whole Terminator Genesis nonsense. It's like, me from the future went back to the past to create me, which was necessary for me to be in the future.
Yeah, it's a time
makes
loop.
no sense, basically.
It's a time loop where...
It makes sense if you don't think about it too much.
If you don't think about it, but basically, it's a confusing time loop because you can't have the future unless the future already exists without you having to go back in time.
Yes. He had to leave the planet to save himself by sending a message back to himself to get him to leave the planet. But I mean, it was all nonsense.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, and I'm surprised Christopher Nolan went for that.
Yeah,
and then
in a weird way too. He didn't just say, "Oh, time travel." No, he
that
went weird
bookcase
with it.
thing was like totally like I just didn't understand like why he decided to go that route with it. Like why the bookcase is. I mean, I get that he was saying that like. Well, when he's in the weird like 3D circus bookcase thing,
a 3D envisionment of the fifth dimension, and they never actually say what the fifth dimension is. They just say there's a fifth dimension.
It's love.
Basically, that's
what they were saying, right?
Yeah, because it transcends the time-space barrier or whatever.
Yeah, the gravity and love. But what I understand is
he's in the love cube.
I guess. I mean, it's so weird. Like,
yes.
but what threw me off is like if these futuristic evolved people, maybe they're not even people anymore, are communicating back in time. Why don't they just tell them? Why don't they just tell the humans like, hey, here's a planet you can go to. Here's how you can travel there. We're just gonna Morse code this to you via gravity or dust particles settling or whatever.
And
it's like if you can't communicate back, why are you doing it in the most complicated way possible?
And way back in, they can reach across galaxies and time and centuries and everything, and they found one guy with a messed up relationship with his daughter. Like that's those are the people that.
Why don't they contact the old guy and give him the, Michael Caine, and just give him the answer to the solution to his
the formula,
gravity formula?
Because they apparently had it.
Oh yeah, another spoiler. He had like half of the thing, but he didn't tell anybody because he wanted everyone to think that there was a chance. I understood that.
He came to
lies.
the conclusion that it was impossible to solve.
Right.
So he says there's a backup plan, but plan B is basically what he's counting on.
Yeah, plan A.
Plan A was
them,
the one that he didn't think would work, but he let everybody think they had hope for.
Yeah, but his plan B was plan A, which was to just
get them there and see the population.
Get the eggs from there. But then who was gonna? She said, did he have to do in vitro fertilization? Right?
Yeah, so like she's gonna birth a bunch of them. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they had like little pods to grow them. I don't know.
No. She said in vitro fertilization.
Did she? Well, I remember she used the word surrogate, but I didn't know.
I guess, and she was the only woman there.
Yeah.
So
what if she would have died and it was only dudes?
She was gonna have to give birth to like 100 people.
Well, she said within 30 years we could have 100. So maybe she would give birth to like 6 or 7, and they would have to brother and sister it up. I don't know.
No. See, because they were already fertilized, so she would just be having a baby from 2 separate people.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't technically be related to each other.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So they could hook up brothers and sisters. It'd still be kind of weird.
Anyway.
Because you'd call it, your mom would be like the same person.
Then again, hey, we don't complain about Noah. All right? Go back to that story. I'm just saying. Anyway, the point is, maybe
God saved other people. Right?
Yeah.
That's for a different video.
Anyway.
But anyway,
the point is,
here.
it deals with a lot of big ideas and a lot of grand kind of themes that unfortunately really start to fall apart when you dig into them.
Yeah.
Okay? One of my things, I'll just say this right now, I thought too much of it was borrowed. Okay? The TARS and Case little robots, to me...
Where did they get those Jenga block AIs from?
That, to me, is a straight ripoff of the Val Kilmer, Carrie-Anne Moss film, Red Planet. They had one that was like 4 legs, looked like some sort of animal or whatever, but it was the same thing. It was a autonomous robot on loan from the military. And in this one, it was requisitioned it from the Marines, because that's all she said that's all the government had to spare or whatever. It was basically the same idea.
Huh, I've never seen that. I've never even heard of this movie.
It's okay. But it's a Val Kilmer movie, put it that way.
Do they look like...
They don't look the same, but the idea is exactly the same.
Oh. Well, their design was original.
The design was pretty neat. I mean, it didn't come off nearly as cheesy as I thought it would be from the trailer. I'm like, a walking block? That looks dumb.
But still...
it worked in the film.
But, it still didn't make sense, because, why would you design AIs that are blocks? They're the most... It's like the...
It was very articulate. It had a lot of articulation.
Yeah, it could
I will say
out
this.
little smaller blocks.
It did a bunch of cool stuff.
But even still, it's like, how are you gonna what if you need to grab something, that doesn't have a handle?
And they said it was built by the Marines or whatever. I'm like, Marines want something that doesn't actually move that fast, and apparently doesn't have any military capability.
Hey, that guy was swimming, he had that
He was going okay, but he wasn't running faster than the average man could. I mean, it's...
Yeah, for that planet, whenever they were on the watery ocean planet.
Gravity,
yeah. And he was carrying a person.
He was doing moderately fast.
But anyway, it doesn't make any sense. That's like the worst design ever.
Well, I will say this. Redeeming quality... The humor factor from that, the sarcasm, to me was a strong point.
Man, that really surprised... You know what surprised me is how, it was serious, but it wasn't, dark as I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't we're all going to die, all the whole movie, it was barely uplifting, or, it was, and not too serious.
There was hope throughout.
Yeah. And then, but it wasn't Dark Knight dark, the Joker's gonna come get you, you know what I mean?
And she definitely wasn't Catwoman.
Yeah. Oh yeah! Michael Caine and Anne Hathaway.
Oh yeah.
Both Nolan alumni. But okay, so the other big spoiler was Matt Damon's character, which as he was
I
talking,
didn't even know he was in the movie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever they first reveal him, I was like, that dude almost looks like Matt Damon. Because like his face was like all like
Yeah, he's like in cryo sleep
like
or
jacked
whatever.
up, yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah, and then I actually asked him, I was like, dude, is that Matt Damon?
yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's Matt Damon. You can't tell. And then you finally get a clear shot, and you're like, yeah, it's him. And then he starts talking, and
Yeah, I did not really, but so whenever he turns into the bad guy, like before that,
yeah,
like
and
he
it
was
doesn't
saying,
take him long either.
yeah, he was saying all this creepy stuff, and it's like, you don't sound like a good guy here, you know.
But see, even that again borrowed from a movie this guy hasn't seen, which he really
Sunshine?
should. But Sunshine, the first ship that they send out, that he goes over there, the guy that's well, I can't say much because it's a spoiler for you. But anyway,
Top of my list. It's on
yeah,
top of my list.
it's another one of those. Oh, I'm alone for too long. All of a sudden, I go psychotic and everything. And it's just like a lot of the little themes there. I mean, I understand. It's 2014. There's been a lot of sci-fi films.
Yeah,
there's going to be
give the
some
film a break, dude.
There's going to be some overlap, but it's just. It goes back to
You were
expectation.
expecting, yeah.
I was expecting something totally
Like,
original,
just
mind-blowing.
like Inception.
Yes, something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, like this, like total. It's not derived from anything. you
Yeah.
know? Like maybe like some heist movies, but just elements. You know, like the story is
Yeah.
completely original. But this movie. Oh, and I just need to point out, for the record, at what point did I call that Matthew McConaughey was the one sending her the messages?
Yeah, he called it pretty early.
Like, I think it was like not even 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
like,
early. He's like,
I'm like,
oh,
dude,
it's him.
that's him
He's
from the
ghost."
future.
Yeah.
Yes, sending the messages.
And I remember.
And then I doubted myself whenever he throws the coin into the dust, and he's like,
And
"Oh,
it's
it's gravity."
gravity.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I guess not."
Yeah.
But
and
I was
like, it could be him, but I don't think it is because that doesn't make any sense. And I was right. It didn't make any sense.
Well, we were both right.
Yeah.
But I was more right, I would say.
Yeah, you called it. I'll give you credit for that.
Okay,
You
yeah, I
called it
called
pretty
it, I
early.
called
I wasn't thinking that in
Yeah.
that line.
So, Mr. Nolan, I've got your card now. So I will now predict the story of his next movie. Okay. It's gonna be Michael Caine. Okay, I'm sensing Michael Caine will be in it,
He'll read some poetry.
and Morgan Freeman will be in it, and who else from his bag of previously used actors? I'm gonna say
Tom Hardy.
No, I'm gonna say
He's been in a
Casey.
couple.
I'm gonna say Casey Affleck.
Yeah, I didn't even know Casey Affleck was in this one.
I did.
Until he showed up.
And you know what else I
like
called?
him.
I called from the trailers that Casey Affleck and Jessica Chastain were his kids grown up.
Oh yeah. Well, Jessica Chastain was pretty easy to spot because she's got the red hair.
And
So.
that kid actress was great.
She did a good job. I can't place the woman, the old her.
Oh yeah, I've seen her. Yeah,
I've seen her in a
she's
few
a familiar
things,
face.
but
you know,
she did a good job too. You know, that was kind of an emotional scene towards the
that
end
was
there.
weird.
It was like
Looking
one
at
of those
your-
things. It's like you want it. It's kind of like it's a tearjerker, but it's also how weird is that? You're talking to your little girl who he basically saw a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But is in
just,
their time it's like 124 years or whatever.
he was gone
it's
like a couple
80-something.
weeks. His time.
Well, no, because remember it was a two-year trip to Saturn, so they were in cryosleep. So he was
that's
awake
right,
for
okay.
like a couple weeks, but
Okay,
they
yeah,
were
so-
through the sleep and
so
everything. It was
his
only
time-
like a couple years, a little more than a couple years.
Okay, yeah.
But
for them, it
because
was
of
like,
the relativity
it was
and
like
all that.
97 years or something like
But
that.
it's like, it's not just that her body's old. She's lived a full life and everything. She's an old woman, which means she's got way more knowledge and experience than he did. She's the more mature one,
Yeah.
talking to her less mature, older dad.
It was funny,
so
like,
weird.
she talks to him, and then he walks out, and it's like,
And she keeps talking, and I'm like, wait
Yeah,
a minute,
and
we
she-
saw him leave in the conversation. How is he remembering these things she said to him?
well, what was weird was like, she was like, you know, you can go now, I've got my family.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's sort of his family too.
Yeah,
All those people are related to him.
he's in his in-laws or whatever you call it.
And his, like...
Grandkids and
yeah,
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
like,
don't know.
are you just gonna like...
Well, it
Chuck
was
some deuces
it was the
and see you
whole,
later?
you know, parents shouldn't have to watch their child die thing. So
Oh,
it was very.
okay.
It definitely. I think if you separate all the science fiction stuff out and you look at it just as an emotional story, it's got some pretty tough, gut wrenching, heartwarming kind of themes in there that you could definitely get a lot into. But
Yeah.
to me, it just the science fiction stuff was pretty cool for a lot of the time. But the way they tied the story together, the bow to me wasn't a very neat bow. It was pretty jagged, and you're
Yeah.
gonna cut yourself a few times trying to untie it.
Golly, that bookshelf scene, man.
It was such a weird visual too.
Yeah, I was like, you're going with the bookshelves?
And plus, they never explain how he's not dead. Because here's the thing.
It's the extraterrestrial beings there holding him in that state.
But here's the thing. Is that, okay, you get past the event horizon into the collapsed star or whatever it is in the black hole that's the actual physical object that's so dense that it sucks in all light and because of such dense gravity. Okay, you could say that as you're traveling through the event horizon and everything, that there's some sort of tunnel-like construct and everything. You don't change the dense star into an empty room full of bookshelves and stuff. It makes no sense whatsoever.
See, the black hole sucked him through. He went through the other side, so he came out of the black hole, and then the future humans engulfed him in the bookshelves. You see what I'm saying?
No, because when it collapsed, that's when he spit out the other side, and he was floating in front of Saturn, and the ship came and picked him up.
Right. Okay, so here's the black hole. He passes.
Us physicists are going to talk about this.
He passes through the black hole. Okay, then he's on the other side, and then the future humans engulf him in bookshelves. So he's already out of the black hole when he gets to the bookshelves.
My understanding was that because they say at the beginning, all right. They say at the beginning that the black hole doesn't occur naturally, or a wormhole doesn't occur naturally.
Wormholes.
Yes.
Black holes do. There's a difference. Black holes are created when a star dies.
None of this really matters because it's a movie. It's not real. But the point is, it was for me. It wasn't explained very well.
It fell
and the
flat.
explanation they gave was kind of.
It was a dud. It was a dud ending, sort of. Or at least that part of the movie was just kind of like...
The ending, like I said in the non-spoiler review, the actual ending after that, when he goes...
When they wrap everything up and he
jettisons back out there to go get his girl.
Won't he be super old when he gets there?
Well... No, because she was on the planet that was further away from the event horizon, so the time distortion wasn't the same as it was on the water planet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was so much stuff in there that was just kind of like flying past me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll just accept this.
If you understand just a little bit of theoretical quantum physics,
you should be fine.
You'll be
fine.
fine.
Just basic quantum mechanics. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as I was into science a lot in high school and college, so I've read stuff about relativity and everything, and I understand a little bit, maybe more than just like the average person who was never into science. And I could keep up a little bit with some of this. That's always a problem for me, is when you have sci-fi films that try to throw out, like the link that you sent me to earlier, throw out random technical jargon to make it sound scientific or whatever. I don't remember the name of it, but
it's called something jargon, where you click this thing and it gives you a sentence of just random like techno babble.
Yeah, I hate it when they actually do that though in the movie,
well,
in the films,
if it was
and they're
real,
getting
you may
better
not
at it.
know. How would you know if it was real?
Yeah, and that's the thing. In this one, the terminology used in the context in which it sounded, they made it sound very plausible.
Yeah. And see, I follow Neil deGrasse Tyson on Twitter, so that's why I'm in the know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where he gets his expertise.
But to the average person, that's not following Neil deGrasse Tyson, you may be a little in the dark on this. That's the only reason I was able to keep up.
And just like your guy,
NDT,
and just like him, God is pretty much left out of this. And I get it. You're watching a sci-fi film. People aren't necessarily going into it looking for a Christian film. I get that. But here's the thing.
This wasn't a Christian movie?
No. They're dealing with all these super huge like metaphysical, deep human, emotional, spiritual connection type issues.
Mm-hmm.
But spirituality and God never even enters into the picture. They don't even hint towards it.
That was weird because Matthew McConaughey's character, and then his dad's that guy.
Yeah.
They seem like they would be the type of people to at least know about religion and stuff, and that would at least come into question when they're like encountering these stuff. Like, hey, that God guy, I heard about in Sunday school when I was 10. I wonder what...
Way back in the 2050s or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they never really tell you what the timeline is as far as like a year.
Yeah, you just assume it's in the future.
It's pretty far away.
But it's like, like that, you would think they would be questioning themselves on that.
Well, and he references his dead wife. And the girl and the daughter talking about ghosts. He mentions to her, she says something like, ghosts don't exist. So that's why I have to be here now because I exist and everything. That's a perfect moment from a script writing standpoint to interject a conversation dealing with, hope for the afterlife or something beyond or whatever. But he just kind of off the cuff dismisses, no, your mom's dead. She's gone. When I die, I'm going to be gone. So let's do some science. And I'm like, really? Like,
that
it just seemed odd.
Yeah.
For a movie that tries so hard to be very human, it was very inhuman in that regard.
And big, like deal with big themes, And there were several times where I thought, like, somebody's got to be thinking about, like, a deity of some kind.
Something.
Or at least some sort of reference to some kind of spirituality.
Well, and like I said, if what's his face and Hot Chick go off and go kick out a couple of babies with the little sperm eggs or whatnot, assuming they were the only ones. Now we obviously know the other ship is going to come along, and that's great. But if it was only them and they were the only ones to survive, pretty much mankind doesn't have any eternal hope for the future because apparently it's just a couple of atheistic scientists starting a new race. I'm like, really? You don't have anything there?
They start their own new religion, like based around like science and stuff.
Yeah, Church of the Fawns or something.
But anyway, we both gave the movie a 7.
Yeah.
Kind of underwhelmed, but still solid movie overall. Hope if you're still watching this, you've obviously seen the movie by now. So
you might have liked it more.
Yeah, if you liked it, or if you liked those elements that we didn't, let us know why. Tell us what's up with that.
Yeah, don't let all of our hating on and bashing on the film swayed you. It's still a well done movie. Certainly better than anything I could make. So props to Nolan. It's definitely a Nolan film. It's a big film. It's got a lot of impressive stuff.
Epic themes.
And definitely the acting, I think, was
probably the best element of the movie.
Was on par with anything you would expect from him. So I definitely like that. Minus Matt Damon. I don't like that
guy. He did pretty good. I
He's
can see
good
him
at
as a
being
jerk.
as an unlovable person.
Kind of a D-bag, but who knows? Maybe he's not like that in real life. I mean, he did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, so anybody who does that can't be a terrible person.
All I can say is I'm really looking forward to Big Hero 6.
Aw, yeah. Hopefully that'll live up to my expectations, which aren't that high.
Go Baymax.
All right. Well, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we will see you next time.